everybody, it is June, and so for a new series that I would like to add to my channel, I am going to use some of the time that I have to film declutters. So I will do a makeup tour at some point. I do not have nearly the collection that you will see other influencers or other creators have. Today I am just going to show you the products that I have pulled from my collection that I'm going to be passing on to some friends and family. I don't throw a lot of makeup away. I only throw away things that are expired or damaged or broken. So if it's something that could be used by somebody else, I will clean it up and pass it on to a friend or family that I know and does not mind getting my makeup secondhand, and they can use it and put it to good use. That way nothing goes to waste. So I will say it's been a while since I've done a declutter. I try to declutter every couple of months because, like we talked about, I have a very limited amount of space, and if I'm not using something, I don't want the time that the product is actually good to tick away before somebody else can actually use it. That's just kind of me. I hate to waste things, and I try to be really, as conscious of that as humanly possible. So I've organized the products into different categories. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out and show you what I have. Let's go ahead and start with single eye products. Eyeshadow palettes specifically are my downfall. I will use and get so many, but also being that I get so many different subscription boxes and subscription services, I'm definitely getting a lot more makeup than I can actually use. So a lot of these little minis that I'm about to show you are things that I actually got through subscription services. The first one is this little buxom eyeshadow. This is in the shade Bold Bling. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's a great formula. It's a great shadow. It swatches beautifully. It's a really nice color. The only issue I have with it is that I've got it. This is a shadow. There's nothing groundbreaking about this eyeshadow. I have it in several of my other palettes that I use, and I'm not going to deprive somebody who actually might be able to use this for something that, they could use in their collection when I already have the same exact shade. Another one that I got, which is loose and not in the pan, it is a duo by NARS, and this set is in the shade South Pacific. So really beautiful, two blue shades, really nice. I'm not going to swatch them because they're very loosely set in this plastic shield and I don't want them to fall out, but they're really nice. Again, I just have colors already in other palettes that I'm keeping. Another shade that I am getting rid of is a Steve Laurent eyeshadow. This is a loose shadow pigment. This is in the shade Antique Olive. Again, it's really pretty. I am just not a loose pigment girl. You can see it's really nice. It's a nice like antique gold with like an olive undertone. Antique olive, exactly like they said. It's just, they're messy, they kind of get everywhere. They're just not my favorite, and this isn't a shade that I would normally gravitate towards. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just not my thing. So again, I'm going to pass it on to somebody who can actually use it. The next one I got is another one that came in a subscription bag, and this is a NYX one in the shade Fireball, and I absolutely love this, but again, it's very close to things that I already have. You can see it's beautiful quality, swatches beautifully, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, I just have it already. Moving right along, this is an eyeshadow in the shade Caramel by Meech and Mia. This also came in an Ipsy bag. Again, it's very similar to the Buxom one that I already got, which I'm actually going to swatch right above it. Nothing wrong with it, it's just, again, I have this shade already in a palette, and what's the point in keeping something that you already have? And last but not least, this is the shade, it's another single. I came in a subscription bag, and this is by the brand Itsy in the shade Boho, and this is a matte shadow, and this is like a rose pink matte shadow shade. And you would just pop it out and put it into a Z palette. I've only used this maybe twice, but it's really pretty. You can see, swatches beautifully, it's a beautiful shade. Again, I just have it already. Are you sensing the trend here? Keeping with the trend of eyeshadows, I'm going to go ahead and move into the eyeshadow palettes that I am decluttering this month. The first one is actually not that old. I've only had it for a few months. This is the Fire eyeshadow palette from the Astrology collection that Wet n Wild did a couple months ago. It's really pretty. I love all the shades in there. The palette actually does perform pretty decently. The reason why I'm decluttering it is, again, I have a lot of palettes with a very similar color scheme. The other one I'm getting rid of, and this is another subscription service bag. This is a little Pixie by Petra, little pixie duo from Target. This one is in the shade Orchid Ornament, and this is like a nice like champagne-y shimmer and a nice plum shade. I love this champagne shimmer, but again, I have a million of them, and this plum shade is just not something I normally grab. So again, I'm going to pass it on to somebody else, but these shades also perform really well. This palette I'm getting rid of purely because it's old. It's old, and I'm so sad because I love it, but it's just getting on in age to the point where like I'm nervous to put it on my eyes. So this is the Cargo palette, and it has these four beautiful blue shades. This is in the the collection was called Tahiti, but you can see gorgeous shades. I've barely used it because these are just shades that I don't use every day, but I still love to use these for pops of color. But the other issue is it always would fall to the back of my drawer, so I would just never get to it. So unfortunately, this one has lived its life, and I feel horrible because I let it go by without really using it. Another palette that I'm going to get is one that I was keeping for so long, but again, I just don't need it because it has the same color story of things I already have. And that is the ColourPop Element of Surprise. And this came in a BoxyCharm a couple months ago. And again, I really love it. The color story is really awesome. I love that pink. It works really well. All of these shadows perform. They are amazing. That's why I already know who I'm going to give this to. Somebody who's going to actually really appreciate it. But you can see what I'm talking about the similarities in shades. Now, of course, yes, this is lighter, but it's very similar to that shade there in the palette. Also, take a look at this color story next to this color story. Again, very, very similar. So it's kind of a waste to keep all these palettes because they're all the same. Now, if I go and pull out my Modern Renaissance, and I go out and pull a few other palettes that I've kept that are in my collection, you're going to say, my God, you really do have the same palettes with the same color story. And I've still kept some of them that are even doubles just because I couldn't bear to part with them. And this one took a lot for me to get rid of. There is no mirror, which is like kind of the only downer to the palette. And this isn't my favorite packaging. I mean, yeah, it's like a magnetic enclosure, but it's just not as secure as other palettes that I have that I like a little more. But it's a beautiful palette. It's definitely worth the money. So if this is something that is speaking to you, I would definitely order it. I'm not getting rid of this because of performance whatsoever, purely because it's a duplicate for me. Last but not least is my BoxyCharm palette that was created by Pure Cosmetics. And this one kind of caught a lot of flack. This one, it's a little bit powdery. You have a lot of fallout with the shimmers. It's patchy. It's not horrible. It's not that it can't be used, but, you know, another thing that they got a lot of flack for was, like, these three shades being so stinking similar. Like, why do we have three shades that are barely different from each other? You know, things like that. But this blue was really awesome. This purple was really awesome. But, again, I have these colors. Let's move on to cheek products. So I'm going to go into cheek palettes because I have two that I'm getting rid of. And then we will move into single items. The first item that will probably come as no surprise to you is by Wonder Beauty. Poor Wonder Beauty has been kicked all over the place on my channel lately, and I feel so bad because I go into it every single time with open mind. And listen to what I have to say about this palette. So it has a nice mirror, it's great, and it's three cheek colors. It's two blushes and a highlight. Okay, the performance is good. It's not bad, it's not great, but it's good. You get good color, there's enough color payoff, it's not weak, it's not chalky. The colors do go on. This highlighter is just too dark for me. I'm too pasty for it. It looks too muddy when I get it on the skin. And additionally, these shades, I especially like this one the best, but I'm not going to hang on to a palette when I've only like one shade in the whole palette. And I have others that are very similar to this and that are a little bit lighter and complement my skin just a little bit better. So this one's really about skin tone. It's not about performance for me, it's about skin tone. The only complaint that I do have about this palette that is not about color or skin tone is the size of the pans. I wish they would have made them a little bit shorter and a little bit wider. And the reason why is it's really hard to get a blush brush. Like, look, my finger almost covers these. That's how thin they are. It's very hard to get a blush brush into these pans. So when you're going in with a bigger fluffy blush brush, which is what I prefer, I have to almost squeeze the brush to get it into just the one shade so that I'm not mixing the shades together. So that is just kind of a technical thing, not a deal breaker, something I could totally deal with if the shades were good for me. skin tone wise, but that's okay. I have a friend. These will look beautiful on her skin tone. I'm going to pass this on to her. I only used this maybe 3 times, so she's getting basically a brand new palette from Wander Beauty. Goodbye, friend. Another item that I'm going to get rid of, and this is something that breaks my heart because I'm so in love with this, but I think I'm more in love with the packaging than I am the actual products on the inside. So this is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani collab that came out a while ago. So we are creeping up on the you really should throw this away date of this palette. But I'm going to go ahead and show you inside. There is a big, beautiful mirror under here, and then these are the shades. I loved this for a minute. Like, I bought this, I spent I think $35 or $40 on this, thought it was awesome, used it quite a bit, but none of the shades are truly good for me. The one shade that I could use often was this one here, and this one is called Hush. And it looks a little gold in the camera, but it's actually kind of pinky, so it really did well with my skin tone. So I did love this, but other colors, they're just either a little bit too pink, a little bit too brown. This highlight, again, was a little bit too dark, and this one is definitely pretty dark. But ironically, if you hold them up side by side, we kind of got some of the same guys going on here. So you can kind of see that these are just the shades that just don't work for me. These are amazing blushes. They are buttery soft. They are super pigmented. A little bit goes a long way with these guys. Again, this packaging is divine. And what I've come to realize about myself is that I just don't like blush palettes. I find one and it becomes my BFF and I stick with it until I hit pan. So it's not worth it. I have another blush palette from Benefit, and it's one of the cheek powder box sets. It's 6 of them, and it has all of my favorite Benefit powder. It has the Hoola bronzer, my favorite highlighters, and then my favorite blushes, all in one compact little blush palette. I never use it. It is the biggest waste of money, and you know those things cost $50, like 50 some. I think $58, maybe 60. I never use it. It's such a waste. So I'm still using my Laura Geller blush that I'm in love with, and I need to pull it out and just make myself use it because it is such a waste. But I just shouldn't waste the money on the blush palettes anymore. This one came in a box. This one I actually bought with my money back when this collection was out. So I'm going to give them to good homes, promise. Now for some single cheek products. So the first one I'm going to talk about is just a little sample of Too Faced bronzer, and this is in the shade Chocolate Soleil. As you can see, it has barely been used. It's just too dark for my skin tone. Purely that's what it is. I have to use the Milk Chocolate Soleil, not the Chocolate Soleil. Other than that, it's perfect, but again, I have a friend, perfect for her. The next blush I'm going to get rid of is from Pacifica, and it is in the shade Wild Rose, and I actually really like this shade. It doesn't smell anymore. It had a scent when I first got it. So I love this. It has no lasting power. You put it on and then it is gone. I, for whatever reason, suck up blush like crazy. I go heavy with the blush. So if you see me when I first apply my makeup, I'm heavy blush because I lose it. I think it's because I'm a toucher. I touch my face. I know I'm not supposed to, but I do it anyways. So this has zero lasting power on me. I don't know if it's just me or if it's the product itself. I've tried other things from Pacifica that I like a lot more. I love this color. I would have used this into the ground, but unfortunately, I'm not going to waste my time. It's gone within 20 minutes. Like, that's how fast it's gone. The next one I'm getting rid of is by Bare Minerals, and it is the shade The Natural High. This is again another sample. This is a dupe for the NARS Orgasm, which I am big into. Like, I love the NARS Orgasm blush. It's like iconic. Everybody loves that blush. But this one is a dupe. I just never reach for it because I have the NARS Orgasm, and then I have a few others that are a dupe for it. It's just one I don't use. I might as well pass it on and let somebody else get some good use out of it. The next one is by Seraphine Botanicals. This is the Like Heat and Gold Healthy Glow Rose Blush, and this is in the shade Ginger Like Heat. I love the shade. Zero lasting power. Like, just as bad as the Pacifica blush. I don't know what it is. And you can tell, I have, like, if you can see in, if you can zoom in, do you see the granules from how much I have dug at this blush? I've tried. Like, look how far down we are. I've tried and tried. And it just, I love the shade so much. It looks so beautiful on me. It's just gone. It's like it evaporates. The next one I'm getting rid of is one of the Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes, and this is in the shade Ornate. This is a matte shade, and it's just too dark. It's too much. It's very pigmented, and you have to go with a very light hand with these blushes, which I knew that going in. I knew that, but I get that stripe. And I've also discovered that I'm not a huge fan of matte blushes. I like them to have a little shimmer. That way, if I don't want to apply a highlight, I don't have to. I still got that natural glow and flush. I feel like a matte blush just flattens my face. So it's just not the right color, and I don't prefer a matte. This last item that's a blush is a complete flop, and this is from Wet n Wild, and this is the Rebel Rose collection. I did an entire video on it. I will link it below so you can watch it if you would like to and see the actual video in action. This is actually a cream blush, and it starts in the shade, sir, shh. It starts in this black color, and then it is supposed to change to your one-of-a-kind flesh rose shade. So I was very intrigued by this. You can see I've barely used it. I used it twice, and both times was a disaster. It has, like, I don't even know if you could see it in the pan, little gold flecks in there. It does color change, but it leaves a gray undertone. So you literally have this of gray on here with like pink on top. And plus it's a cream blush. It's not a very good cream blush. And I don't say that to diss Wet n Wild, because they have other blushes and highlights that are bomb. And I have a few of them, and I love them, and I use them all the time. I can't get with this. The other issue with this blush, and it's color change blush, you're putting it on and you don't see really how much actual color you're going to get. It doesn't color change quick enough, so you'll end up with more color in one spot than in another. And then also the cream formula is very akin to Vaseline. So I'm a dry skin girl. I have naturally dry skin, but as I'm putting on this Vaseline-y blush, it's just it's no bueno. No bueno. Actually, I probably should just throw this in the trash. Lastly, let's get into lip products. So I kind of tried to break them up into color, because there's really no rhyme or reason, and there's no matching like other way that I could do it to keep it organized. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to go through this really, really fast, because there are a lot of them. I have so many lip products, it's embarrassing. The first one I'm getting rid of, and it kills me, is the Ofra Cosmetics Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the shade Havana Nights. This is the one that was done in collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and I love her. I've been a subscriber of hers for many years, and I love it. The problem is this is just too brick red for me. It just doesn't look good on me. It's not a shade that I reach for. This is a beautiful formula. It's beautiful packaging. I love it. I was super sad. I'm sorry, Oprah. I'm sorry, Kathleen. I just can't wear this. Next one I'm getting rid of is actually by Urban Decay, and this is the Vice Liquid Lipstick in the shade Purgatory. This is patchy. This is a hot mess. It's beautiful color, but the application and the actual use of this particular shade it's so patchy. Like, even if you swatch it, it's supposed to be opaque, but you can see my skin popping through here. That's just not acceptable for a liquid lip. It just doesn't. Gotta go. It's gotta go. Another one I'm getting rid of, and this is just basically because of the shade, is this MAC lip gloss in the shade Love Child. This came in an Ipsy bag. It's really pretty. It's just not a shade I'm going to reach for. I'm getting rid of this Sephora Pantone lipstick, and this is in the shade Radiant Rush. And I would normally wear a purple or a pink. This just leads to... It's too pinky purple. It doesn't lean far enough violet or far enough pink for me. It just looks awkward on my lips, so I never reach for it. By Almay, and I couponed for this and got it super cheap, and I wore it for a while. This is in the shade Very Light. It is a natural tinted lip product. It's scented with like a nice vanilla scent. It's really pretty. It's just not something I reach for, so again, I'm just gonna... This is a lip gloss that I picked up from Essence. This is in the Shine 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 Wet Look lip gloss. I don't know why I got this color. It's in the shade Bright On. It's sheer. It's not an opaque color, but it's just a touch too brown for my taste, so I never reach for it. Not horrible. I mean, it smells really good. If I didn't have any others to use, Axton. if I didn't have any others to use, I would totally keep this. But I have others to use, so there's no sense in hogging this for myself. Another one I'm getting rid of is by Benefit Sugar Bomb. Again, it's just a little bit too brown for me. And this is just a sample. This is from the Balm Cosmetics, the Balm Jour Creamy Lip Stain in the shade Namaste. It's a nice berry shade. It's supposed to be a lip stain. It's really just a moussey lip product. I just don't like it, so I'm handing it away. Another one I'm getting rid of is by Kat Von D, and this is in the shade Adora, and this is one of her long-lasting metallic liquid lips. I'm kind of over Kat Von D. I don't want to have a cancel culture on my channel. However, I'm just kind of over it. I used to be a really big fan of hers, and I just can't anymore. I just can't. Can't do it. It's gotta go. Another one I'm getting rid of. This one I'm actually just going to pitch in the trash can. It's older, and this is by Tarte, and it's in the shade Blissful. You could see it's really running low. It's in the type of brush I hate. It's like a little brush-on applicator and a clicky pen to make the product come up through. It's a minty taste. I just never cared for this. I pushed through that far. It's too old. It's gotta go. I just mentioned this in a video, I think a month ago. This is my first Dose of Colors liquid lip in the shade Rosebud. The shade is just so wrong for me, and I'm so depressed because I loved this formula. I am going to buy a shade that I actually will like and use in this formula because it is so good. So good. I just can't use this shade. Another product I picked up because I thought the shade would work for me is one of the L'Oreal Infallible paints. Again, the shade is just not right for me. I'm getting rid of this Tardis lip paint. This is another one of the little samples I picked up along the way. It's just too brown for my taste. Another item I'm getting rid of is a lip exfoliator by e.l.f. It is in a lip like stick shape, but this is probably just going to go in the trash. This stuff just did nothing. I have others that work so much better. This is by L'Oreal Paris, and this is the JLo collection, or the JLo color. They had different celebrities who did a different matte lipstick. Smells like a freaking Cabbage Patch Kid. Do you know what they smell like, those dolls? That florally, flowery smell that smells so good on the toy for the few seconds you're smelling it, but then when it's on your lips and it's under your nose constantly, this stuff gives me a headache. And I am not fragrance sensitive, but it's really so pretty. I love it. But God, that scent gets to me. This is one of the few items I've ever come into contact with where the scent got to me. It's gotta go. Another item I got in a bag is by the Beauty Crop, and this is the Lip Brulee. Again, this is just a shade I'm just not going to reach for. I have a couple in case I ever do want to use that. I've got a couple that I love a lot more than this. It's just gotta go. Another one I picked up that I never use is another L'Oreal lip color, and the shade is no longer on. Oh no, I lied. Aphrodite Kiss. And this one I had a lot of hopes for. It doesn't have a scent issue, but I love that like watermelon pink, that watermelon red, you know, really pretty. I have another shade that I like better. That's simply it. And it's not a shade that I wear enough of that it validates having two. Another item I'm getting rid of is by Trestique. This was a BoxyCharm item. There is a primer in the base, and then there is a nice lip color in the top. I really love it. I love the, you know, the magnetic closure. I like that it looks like a crayon. It's just, I have this color a million times over in other formulas that I like better. The NYX Whipped Fouet. Whipped Fouet, is that how you say it? I have no idea. This is in the shade Berry Tea. I just don't like the formula. I'm getting rid of these because I've had them forever, and these are Mary Kay lip glosses in Fancy Nancy and Berry Sparkle. And if you're going to get lip glosses, I would highly recommend Fancy Nancy. These are awesome. I've just had them forever. They really do have to go. Like, we're talking like 6 years, guys. Like, they're old. Like, and I kept hanging on to them because I felt guilty throwing them away. I don't know why, but I'm getting better, so they gotta go in the trash because they're old. And last but not least is a matte lip paint from the Girlactic brand, and this is in the shade Demure. This is in the shade Demure. Oh my god! Demure. What a mess. It's a scene. So this is in the shade Demure, and it's just too brown. That's it. It's a great formula, but for me, on my lips, it just leans a touch too brown. So, I hope that you will send me positive vibes and pray that I get therapy, speech therapy, for my lack of ability to pronounce basic words. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you. If this was helpful for you at all, please let me know. These are some very new products, but some of them are very old, but maybe it just gives you a little bit of insight into why I declutter and how I declutter, and maybe you could do a little decluttering of your own and give you a little inspiration to do that. Comment down below. Let me know if you want to see a collection tour, if you want to see what I am keeping and what's in my collection. God help you. But I will show it to you if you want to see it. Stay tuned for my next video. Check out a couple that I linked below that show more in-depth reviews of some of the products that I got rid of today. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.